Today we're going to take care of some unhappy begonias. I have a few, shocking because I like growing begonias, and you think because I like a plant, I am good with it. That is not true. I am still learning and growing with begonias, and today we're going to address some issues and take care of some plants. Welcome to Mixing Plants and Crafts. My name is Rachel. So this begonia, it was labeled as Begonia White Ice. I'm not sure if that is the right name for it because I think a Begonia White Ice have longer leaves. These leaves are much shorter. It could be that this plant is just so unhappy. I'm not getting those bigger leaves. So we're gonna clean it up and put it in a self-watering pot. And that's what I'm actually gonna do with all of them. This one, oh man, I don't remember. Begonia bipanidiana, I think that's how you say it. It's like a fern-like begonia. Curling of the leaves like this, it's usually out like this, but because the leaves are curling, I think it's fairly root bound in here. But we're gonna get this one repotted and actually see if there's any rotted roots in there. But I revived this plant from being shipped to my house, I think spring of last year, and it melted away, but I was able to revive it from a tiny plant that did survive. I was able to regrow it like this, but now it's telling me it's unhappy. And it's grown actually 3 new stems from that one stem, so that's good news. But yeah, we're gonna address that. And then this one, not happy. It's not happy. It needs some TLC. If you look at this stem right here, it's just a stem. There's nothing on it. And it's just 2 leaves right here. So we're gonna propagate and stuff. We're gonna do all the things today. I have neglected it way too much. Most of the time, you usually have to stake up a begonia because it gets too heavy. The stem is too heavy for the plant and it can't hold itself up. It needs support. So, okay. Let's see what's going on with this plant. Ow. There is some nodes activation right here. It's wet still, so it's not like it's moist from being in a self-watering pot, but it smells mossy. There's some thick roots in here, like this. So this is really thick. Okay, so I mean, I think that's a good sign. I have not repotted this plant in a year since the last repot, and I think it should have been repotted sooner. Probably would have done better for me. Okay, so I'm gonna use another self-watering pot, but it's way bigger. I have already mixed my soil. I added just a little bit more potting mix, so it's not as chunky, and I think because it's a begonia, it's gonna appreciate that a little bit more. All right, so I'm going to I think that's good. I'm gonna put the ties back on it. I am thinking, okay, so I am gonna remove these leaves right here. These leaves were already starting to go. This one's starting to go. I have all this empty node right here. This is completely empty. There's no leaves. There's activation. I'm going to chop this long one and propagate it. That is what I'm going to do. Let it callus over and then stick it in water, and then I might put it back into the plant or have a new plant for someone. Okay, so we have this stem that is empty now with nothing on it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave that. Okay. All right, that looks tons better. Going to give this a water right now. All right, looking good. She's gonna go back to her spot. Oh, I do have to let this callus over and I can propagate it, but I'm gonna get this growing. I enjoy this begonia because the leaves are really thick and shiny and glossy, and actually it feels like spider mites would not want anything to do with a cane begonia because of how the thick the leaves could be. It's so messy. It gets so messy when there's a repot. All right, this one's gonna go in this self-watering pot. It seems that it's gonna be too big for it, but really it's not. It's a begonia, so I think it's gonna be fine. And let's see how the roots are on this one. The roots are actually quite, it's pretty small. Maybe, I don't know if I want to put it in this pot now, but I think it'll be fine. I think that's good. All right, I'm gonna water this now because these are begonias. They're so sensitive to being dried out. And we have the second one done. Hopefully this plant will recuperate from the curling of the leaves. I'll give you an update on this soon. I don't really like the curling of the leaves. Usually it's, you know, it's very fern-like. The next plant is this one. It is the begonia white ice, so that I was told it's just not liking winter. Since winter has come, it's just been pretty unhappy. Was newly repotted too. And I mean, we have yellowing of leaves right here at the top. I mean, new leaves are growing in, which is great, right? That's one of the good things about begonias because I can kind of depend on new leaves growing in right there and right there. Self-watering pot to the rescue. And I'm actually going to just plop. This is already moist. I'm not going to top water. I'm just going to leave a reservoir here. And that is how I'm going to have it watered this time. I will fill in the pot with soil. I'm not even gonna mess with the roots on this one. All right, I think I got all of the sides and we're good. Let's see how that looks. It's fine. It's a little before halfway. I think I'm comfortable with that because this plant was already so moist. I'm gonna go ahead and clip the leaves. I'm gonna clean this first. Okay, this looks so much better. Hopefully it's gonna take off again and give me some more. Those growths are gonna start coming in. Okay, this one's done. I am gonna take a look at one more begonia. It is a terrarium begonia, and I bought it in hopes that we would have the terrarium build, but that's not been the case. It's been a story with that. I've not had time to do that yet. So this begonia is it's beautiful, and I took it out of this terrarium that I have it in. I had it in here with a lid on. And I took it out and I put it in my IKEA greenhouse cabinet, that one right there. And it dried up within a few hours. Like the leaves just dried from the ends to the center. And I just was like, I lost this plant. That really sucks. So, what did I do? I decided to stick it back into the terrarium and to see what happens. And it given me a new leaf. It is so beautiful. I'm hoping that this will start taking off again. And hopefully I can get this terrarium build that I've been trying to do. I also have um two leaves in here that fell off when I first got the plant. I was hoping that it was going to grow. Oh wow, there's some growth roots on it. Is it going to grow? I have no idea, but I think what I'm going to do is refresh, or I'm going to put fluval in here, fluval and moss. Let's try it. I could propagate this leaf that is giving me a root. I don't know. This is weird. Begonias are so interesting to propagate. Okay, so there's a leaf in there. And this is okay, so I have a new plant. It is the Begonia paulensis. I have been wanting that plant since last year in September or August. I've not been able to find it. And when I got the tiny plant, this leaf fell off, and I figured why not try to propagate it? So we're going to do just that. In here, give it a little water. And this begonia, the looking glass begonia, will go in water, and I will wait for roots to develop on this. Okay, so this is the Begonia paulensis. I love this begonia. It's really tiny. I purchased it as a starter plant, which is kind of what I like to do with even begonias, but I know that I could risk a lot of things with this plant, but the bigger plant is so expensive that I really cannot afford it. So I'm going to just grow it from a starter plant. I'm going to unpot it to see how the roots are doing since I just got it and it's so tiny. Um, ooh, yeah, there's not a lot of roots. I'm not going to disturb it too much. It's doing good. One of the leaves fell off when I unboxed it. And yeah, I love the leaves of this plant. Yeah, so hopefully by the time I reveal this unboxing on the channel, it's going to grow so much more than just this. It's so tiny. I mean, comparing it to this, oh my goodness. Um, I don't know if you know anything about this plant, but it tends to grow really big and big leaves. So we'll see. We'll see how this does in my care. I'm going to put it back in the cabinet because I don't want to leave it out too long. Okay, I have one more begonia, and I'm not going to be putting that one in a self-watering pot. I'm going to put it in this right here, bigger pot. It's done really well for me in that setup, so I'm just going to leave it. Pink spotted maculata. That's what it is. Another dark begonia. Those are seems to be my favorite. So this one's going to be really easy because it's doing perfect. I rescued it from myself because when I got it, I neglected it and I just, yeah, didn't do well. But since I repotted it, and there's a video on the channel of me rescuing this begonia, I'll link it somewhere on here. Since I've potted it up on here, it's just done so well for me. So I'm not gonna mess with it, change its setup. I'm just gonna just plop it and put it in a new pot. This plant does really well. I think the dark begonias does great with low light, and I had to move it to a lower light setting. If it's a low light plant, I'm all for it because Some other plants get a lot of light real estate. I would like to have some more low light plants actually because I don't want to put more grow lights in my space. I am actually not going to fill it up all the way. I can up pot it later. This is done. Perfect. I'm gonna give it a water now too. So thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me and rehabbing some problem begonias. Sometimes I think these plant chores video are a little boring, but I still got to get stuff done, and I figured why not hang out with you guys. Talking through the process always helps me, and if it helps you, fantastic. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.